What is going on, everyone? Happy Friday. We are so sorry we're late. Thank you so much for sticking with us. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every single day, we're coming at you live from our studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily live show. We are a little late today, but that just means that you'll catch us a little later as well. We have our special guest, like every Friday, joining us, Forrest from Sistine Research. Perfect timing as Bitcoin has crossed over 19,200. We're going to look at some avalanche charts, some Polygon-matic charts, Flow, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're also going to talk about Gary Gensler is officially charging Gemini and Genesis. What does that mean? Cameron Winklevoss has responded. Also, at the last minute, coming in hot, Logan Paul released a 2-minute video discussing his plans for CryptoZoo. We'll get through that and much, much more. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-host. Hello, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, boring, stale information, package it up in a fun, sexy way. Bitcoin is moving, baby. You know what that means, right, David?
No,
David?
please, just for one day.
David?
Come on, no, please.
Bitcoin, $19,336. That means the bull market is back, baby.
The
Putting the bull horns on.
The bull market is not back. The bull market is not back. I think we just lost half our viewers. So, don't you feel embarrassed for yourself doing that?
No.
Well, you should.
Because every time you see that cringy ass move, you know that you're making money.
All right. I don't want to waste any time. Let's bring Forrest on. Forrest? Forrest!
Hey, guys. What's up?
What's up, man? Hey, thank you so much for your patience, buddy. We appreciate it. All right. Problem. How you feeling, man? How's this pump? Are you making money? Have you made any trades? What's the deal here? Is this going to be sustained? Before we get into the charts, just some conversation.
Yeah, sure. So most of my capital right now, if it's not in Ethereum, which is, just been the thesis for a while now, it's in the DeGods, Utes, Dust ecosystem. I think that's the biggest opportunity right now, risk reward wise. But yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff running. A lot of the stuff's correlated. So if you have risk exposure to the market right now, you're probably doing quite well.
Okay. I don't want to waste any time. I want to jump right in. I want to start with Logan Paul. And then we're going to get into Gary Gensler, Gemini, then we'll get into some charts here, okay? So Logan Paul just released his video and his 3-step part to what he's going to do with CryptoZoo. And so we're going to watch this. I have not seen it yet. This popped up on my Twitter feed like 20 minutes ago. I have not listened to it, but here we are, and we'll talk about it once we're finished. All right.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal. I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire, an ego, flare, whatever it is, pride. I'm a fighter at heart, and I was defensive because I know I never scammed anyone with this project. I never made any money, never sold any tokens, and I only had the best intentions going in. But the fact is, suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my attention where it should be, which is on fans and supporters of me. You guys mean the world to me, so I'd like to announce my 3-step plan moving forward. Step 1, Jeff and I are going to burn our Zoo tokens so we have no financial upside in the game, and it will add value to holder tokens. Step 2, we want to offer a rewards program for players who are disappointed in the status of the game. So essentially, you're going to be able to burn your base egg or your base animal for the mint price, which was 0.1 ETH or the equivalent in BNB. I am personally committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million right now for players who want to get out. And then step 3, obviously finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper by completing the egg bridge from ETH to BSC for base animals and base eggs, completing the marketplace, and obviously completing the releasing your animals into the wild to accrue your yield function. To say,
was that a disclaimer? Was that a disclaimer? Did you guys notice that on the bottom? The disclaimer in the video?
No.
Yeah, I saw something pop up, but I didn't read it. You want a little rewind?
Yeah, well, let's real quick. I'm curious what that disclaimer said. Subject to change. Working on finalizing what will be the fastest and most accommodating to all current ETH and BSC holders. Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. All right, especially with Gary Gensler on a tear now, you got to be.
To say I am disappointed in how this was handled internally is an understatement. There's a full internal investigation going on along with an audit, and we are going to pursue full legal action for whomever needs to be held accountable. If any money is recovered in the process, it'll go right to the community. My sole obligation is to my supporters, and I know this video is long overdue. Here it is. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for how this has unfolded thus far, and I want people to know that they can trust me and that I'll always take care of the fans and people who support me. I appreciate your guys' patience while we do our internal investigation, and I promise to be transparent and disclose any information we find out in the process. And lastly, thank you, CoffeeZilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation, and I mean that. Thank you, bro. CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
Okay, so a couple things from me. Men are prideful, okay? Men have pride. Some men have more pride than others. Some cannot swallow their pride. Some cannot move past their ego. And Logan Paul, to me, has always been that kind of guy. For him to come out and thank the guy and say thank you to the guy who did a 3-part series on him, calling him a scammer, I don't know, man.
Yeah, come on now. You know that's some PR guy wrote that.
Yeah, but for him to say it, bro,
He doesn't mean it. He literally was making like fat face freaking gifs out of CoffeeZilla and putting it on his Twitter 3 days ago. like you think all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Actually, thank you, man. You really brought this to my attention. I am so grateful. Like, it's all BS, bro.
You think it's all BS? Is that your initial reaction?
He got so much backlash for his crap ass response. Basically, the response for the docu series, the 3-part YouTube video, CoffeeZilla. His entire response was, CoffeeZilla, you only focused on the corrupt people that I hired, and I'm not a scammer.
The corrupt people that I hired.
You are a scammer, and you are stupid, and you did it all for the clicks. And it never referenced his own people, never referenced the failure of the project, never referenced what he was going to do to fix it. Simply said, oh, the game's coming. What are you talking about? And so I think that just the backlash and just the kind of ugly connotation that whole thing gave to his image, I think it just was something that he needed to address in a form of apology. And I think it's the PR move to say, thank you, CoffeeZilla, but he does not like that dude. He does not like him at all.
What's your first reaction, Forrest?
It's tough to tell if it's forced or genuine, but you could tell that was physically painful. Like squeezing his fingers is physically painful for him to be, say some humble words there and apologize. So that's the kind of response that you would have hoped for sooner in this kind of debacle. And that's kind of, if he would have come out and given that exact response after the first CoffeeZilla video and said, "Hey, 1,000 Ethereum. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna burn the tokens. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any financial incentive here. I haven't made any money. We're gonna set this right. Things got away. Things didn't go according to plan. We hired some bad people we shouldn't have. Apologies for not following along with the project and following through. Obviously, I have a super busy lifestyle, but I should have made this a priority." If he would have come out and said that and some of those other things that I sprinkled in there from the very start, I feel like it would feel more genuine and he would have had more goodwill. The fact that, like to Robin's point, the fact that he went tit for tat, back and forth, tried to fight and battle, which, to be fair, he did acknowledge that, hey, I'm a fighter. This is my gut reaction, whatever. I think there would be more good.
Stop it.
But I'm split. I think that this has been necessary and this is better than nothing. This is better than the alternative, but it still feels a little bit delayed and almost like he's just kind of been bested and he's living to fight another day and he's going to try to, pick the fights that he can win. And he's kind of realized that he can't win this fight. And this is
the whole thing of him saying the whole thing about him saying I'm a fighter is like, if you pour concrete for a living, it's like, yeah, every time I see a bag of concrete, I just want to pour it. Like, what? Makes no sense. I have not been a good announcer. Look at Rob's face.
So
Terrible
I just
analogy.
think this should have been the immediate reaction. This should have been, like he should have gone down this path day one as soon as this broke, gotten ahead of it, taken full ownership and responsibility. It just feels like he waited too long, and that's why it doesn't feel as genuine. And he's just kind of accepting defeat because he realized he can't win this.
A part of me thought he would never apologize, and so
part of me did too.
So you know what? In all honesty, I am actually, I think it's all good. Maybe it's not exactly what how I would have handled the situation.
What do you guys think about him?
But he's trying to make the users right. He's basically trying to refund some money. I think he's been more forced because of the situation to revive the project, which I think he was kind of trying to just dismiss as a loss. So I think it's good. Hey, I think this is silver lining. I think a lot of other celebrities are going to think twice about just launching an NFT project.
Oh, they should.
Now,
they should think twice.
If they even want to launch one, or if they do decide to launch one, that they're going to have that thing buttoned up. You know what I mean? They don't want to have a failure or in the same way that this one had. So,
what are your guys' thoughts on him putting up 1,000 ETH, $1.3 million? Do you think that's enough? Are you happy with the plan? Hey, if anyone wants to cash out, you can burn your eggs, whatever. Or if you want to stay and wait for the game, blah, 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 blah.
I think it's pretty fair. I think it's good.
That's fair?
Yeah.
Better than nothing, right?
He probably could have gotten away with not doing that, but that's going to make it really difficult to sue him. I think that's, like, how do you sue somebody if they offered a refund? It's like, okay. Yeah, like tough. So
exactly.
I think it's more.
And he's got plenty of money, so don't feel bad for Logan Paul.
Well, at the same time, man, he's probably using this whole thing as a business opportunity, because, I never heard of CryptoZoo. Maybe I'd seen it in front of me before or whatever. Maybe it was in some article, but honestly, I don't know. If before this broke, if you'd have said, hey, yeah, you guys looking into CryptoZoo? I literally would have no idea what you're talking about. Like, don't know. So obviously, you got a ton of press onto your own project, even though it's not functional right now. And so what do you think is going to happen to the price of that NFT if the game develops, if the game is functional, and when there's this big PR for it comes out this date? Then, obviously, I think he's going to be the one that benefits the most out of this with a successful game launch, right?
Well, he's burning all his tokens.
I think he's going to make money.
How? I mean, maybe in some way, roundabout way. I don't know if he still has NFTs, but if he burned all the tokens, I think it may be tough.
Unless you think new people are coming in, which I don't.
I just don't know. Like, how does he still have direct financial benefit from this project doing well if he doesn't have any stake in it anymore?
Is that what he said in his video? I must have missed that. He said he
burned all his tokens. Yeah, so actually, I think that's negative for the project. The project founder should have financial incentive, to be fair. So I don't even think, like, I would have probably, if as a token holder, I'm not a token holder, but if I was a token holder, I would actually want him to have some financial incentive. I'd want him to still own tokens, because that's
like Charlie Lee selling all his Litecoin, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like now he doesn't have any financial benefit. He's probably going to do the bare minimum just to get off the hook and then dump this thing on the side of the road. Whereas if he had financial incentive as a token holder, I'd be like, oh, yeah, pump this thing. Yeah, make it. I don't know, man.
I got a feeling there's going to be some monetary system there for himself. Whether or not, like when he said he was going to buy people's tokens, maybe he holds those for himself. Maybe he acquires tokens that were from some of the other developers. Maybe he gets some of those back. Don't forget, there's the whole NFT, the royalties that are associated with NFTs. I don't know what the royalty is on this. Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, it's not functional, so we wouldn't know.
It wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden, a year from now, dude's straight raking in cash because of this thing.
Who knows?
Yeah. Probably a good buy, honestly. 11 million fully diluted valuation.
Stop it. All right, a couple shout outs. So our hype man Jimmy gifted out 5 more memberships. So big thank you to Jimmy. Also, Magic Internet Money with the 666 said he's only doing it because he got caught. I'm still not drinking Prime. I'm not either.
And then we got a few new people in the chat. So a little shout out here. We have Jerky Yara. We got Kevin B. Hovon. We got Possession Mitchell. Mark Seth Smith.
It's
And then we got your owner. We got Buck Nasty in here. And also Cryptoanon. Not to be confused with QAnon. Okay.
Thank you for that, Robin.
And also we have Gonzo in here, which we another creator that we've been kind of
Gonzo.
So.
I believe we're going on a show soon here, so we're excited for that. All right. Okay, I'm kind of debating here. Should we get into Gary Gensler Gemini, or should we look at Bitcoin chart because it's pumping? What do you guys think?
Bitcoin.
Forrest, what do you think, Forrest?
Whatever works. Yeah, we can go right into the charts.
All right, let's do Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So I looked this morning. Bitcoin's at 19.2. And I'm like, all right, what else is pumping? Everything else is kind of flat. So what's going on, Forrest? What is the charts telling us? Can we expect a sustained rally? Are we seeing 20K next, or are we going to go back to 18.5?
Yeah, so that's the question. Everyone's wondering, is this a bear, or is this a bull trap, and we're going to move back further? So basically the way I look at it, we're looking at the Bitcoin chart here. There's three possibilities. There's full-on bull market. We make new all-time highs. I don't think that's likely. I don't think I need to convince people why that's unlikely. At least until 2024, the next Bitcoin halving, we are in a period of time where I just don't think it's likely we go up to new all-time highs. Then the other possibility, the opposite possibility, is this is a bull trap. Everyone gets suckered into going long. They dump it back down, and we probably go down to 12 to 14K, and we put another low or kind of somewhere along this trend line, which would be around the downside trend line, which would be around 12K or so. And then the scenario that I'm kind of leaning towards being the most likely is that this is a bear market rally. Timing wise, we're due for a bear market rally. I think that we could and by bear market rally, I just mean bear market rally can be kind of a bull trap, but by bear market rally, we look historically here. We'll turn off this moving average. We'll put on the easy bands. What I would kind of define as a bear market rally would be a considerable move from the green easy bands to the red easy bands on most charts. So you can see like a lot of stuff has already had their bear market rallies. Like QNT, for example, had a bear market rally and is in that cool off consolidation phase where it moved from the green easy bands to the red easy bands. That is a nice bear market rally, and you'll see that pattern occur very frequently with a lot of bear market rallies. Right? Ethereum back in 2017, the bear market rally, green easy bands to red easy bands. So that's the move that we're looking for here. Now we go back to the Bitcoin chart. How do we tell when we're there? Let me get the easy bands off, throw back on that 21-week simple moving average. And then we also have this blue straight downtrend line here that we've now broken. Now, it's really important to look at this moving average, and because mean reversions in a bear market are pretty common. And what I mean by a mean reversion is just simply a reversion, right? You get overextended or underextended versus the 21-week simple moving average. We move back and we test it and fail to hold it as support, and we fall back down below it into a bear market. And again, we've seen this with Ethereum as well, but we're looking at Bitcoin here. The last time we hit this and retested it, we popped barely up above it, and we fell right back down. As FTX. It looked like we were going to break through it and things were starting to look bullish, but then of course FTX collapsed. And I do think that one of the reasons that Bitcoin did hold up so well and the overall market did hold up so well despite FTX collapsing, like myself included, a lot of people would have thought, hey, FTX is collapsing. That's horrible. We're headed down to 12K or lower. But we were really, if we kind of adjust this trend line here, we were really well on our way to a bear market rally. We had that great CPI print right here, in the S&P 500 really spiked and took off while Bitcoin was collapsing and crypto was collapsing due to the FTX becoming insolvent. So I would argue that we were already on our way to a bear market rally before FTX collapsed, and now we've just kind of recovered. And once again, we are on our way to a bear market rally just from a lower point. Now, this is the next week is incredibly important, right? Because what we've seen in the past is you poke your head up above the 21-week simple moving average, but you can't sustain it. And when you can't sustain it, it usually means you're going to go make a new low. So right now we need to sustain support on both. We've got confluence here between our downtrend line and our 21-week simple moving average. Now it's really, really important to watch the first kind of larger correction that we get. And I do think that we'll get kind of a larger correction soon. I don't know if we'll go up and tap 21.5 first, but that first larger 5 to 10% plus correction, how hard and fast does it get bought up? So let's just say we go up and tap 21.5K. That would be a very logical resistance point. When we get that pullback and the shorts start coming in, how fast do the buyers come back in to bid Bitcoin back up? They come in hard and fast and push Bitcoin's price right back up. And that to me is a signal that we're probably going to get a full-on bear market rally. Probably minimum target would be 25K, and 28K would be kind of the stretch target, right? So, and from where we're at right now, I mean, that's like another 30 to 50% in Bitcoin. I don't want to target too much higher than 28K for now. We can cross that bridge when we get there if the market shifts or changes at all. But I think it's fairly likely that we get a bear market rally here and we do go higher. We just need to pay attention to the price action over the next couple of days. The last thing I want to say about Bitcoin's price action right now is this price action, this pattern here on the daily, where you get that tight accumulation, right? And then you get acceleration to the upside. That type of price action is usually followed up by more continuation and more bullish. We may get a correction here. We may get something like this, but it's usually followed up. That is very, very bullish price action. It starts to move kind of at an exponential pace, blasting off of the bottom as people have accumulated and people are FOMOing in. People are definitely this kind of price action is indicative of people of FOMO, where people are pushing it higher and higher and higher. And I do think we'll get a correction. We just need to pay attention to where they buy it. It's very different than just kind of this erratic price action where you're just you get a lot of liquidations, a bunch of random people buying the dip and taking large positions, battling support and resistance, and then popping back up here. It's very different than this really clean, tight price action that's starting to move in an exponential manner. So I think bear market rally. I've been saying that for the last month or so. That January, February, March, Q1 of this year could be a really, really solid bear market rally. So I'm sticking to that thesis, and I think we just need to be certain that we're going to hold this. If we drop below this, that is a trigger for going lower, and then I'll flip. I'll flip, and I'll say, hey, we couldn't hold this. We dropped below. We start making lows. And it doesn't get bid right back up above this level, then it's time to consider flipping short or taking profits and making sure we get out.
Okay.
Do you have 30K on a like as a level that's realistic? I know you said bear market rally. You think it could get that high? I know it's pretty far off from where we're at now, but just kind of thinking bear market rally. How high does that really go?
Yeah, so I mean, you got to remember, like, these bear market rallies can be absolutely excruciatingly painful for bears and for people who have not been DCAing in or taking positions towards what could very well be the bottom. Last bear market rally in 2018 went to 2018 and 2019, 345%. It will towards the top of a bear market rally, you start to wonder, is this the new bull market, and are we going to go make new all-time highs? I mean, 13.7K Bitcoin's not far off of the all-time high. It's a 340% rally. So it can easily continue to push higher. And then what you have is you've got the same thing happens when trend starts to flip here as what happens on the top side. So here you've got a bunch of bulls that are in denial, and they keep trying to buy the dip. They keep trying to buy the dip. They keep trying to buy the dip. They keep getting liquidated, and it just pushes the price further and further down. Well, now you've got people that are thinking, hey, this is a bear market. I'm going to short everything that I possibly can. They keep shorting, and they just keep getting liquidated. Short squeeze. And I do think that we could push as high as 28 to 30K. I think 28K. This kind of resistance here would be more the level that I'm comfortable with as kind of my maximum target for a bear market rally. Let's throw on the easy bands here and kind of see where that would be extending towards the red easy bands, and kind of overextension. So 25K would be, kind of the target where I think a lot of shorts can come in, and maybe, there's a squeeze, it pushes through up to 28 to 30K. But 25 to 30K would be my target for this bear market rally, which off of the low here would be, off the low here would be about an 80% rally out of Bitcoin.
Cool.
Forrest, we covered
Yep.
news that Amazon Web Services is partnering with Avalanche to bring essentially what they do to enterprises, government, and businesses. We saw Avalanche rip up to a little over, I believe, $16. I forget if it was a 4 hour of the daily chart. I saw a little flag forming. What's the TA telling us on Avalanche? Go ahead, Robin. I know what you're going to say.
And then just kind of. So I actually
move money into Avalanche. Where should I get out?
Yeah, actually, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I bought it $14. Not financial advice, but
I'm honestly, I don't have any money in Avalanche right now. So I'm curious to know too. Like,
I'm up 10%. So
when should we take profits? Should we stay in? Well, what does the chart say?
Yeah, so if you see my tier list here over here, Avalanche is A tier. Avalanche is a really, really good cryptocurrency, and it just
Can you talk about that real quick? The tiers, Forrest. I see S tier, A tier. Will you just kind of tell everyone what those mean? Is it like a universal thing? Is it yours?
Yeah, so it's my subjective rating of these of each of these projects based on the sum of all of my knowledge about cryptocurrency and tech, the fundamentals and the tokenomics of all of these different projects. So this is not necessarily like a super tight scoring system. This is just where I personally view each of these cryptocurrencies. So Ethereum, Chainlink, Matic, QNT, for many different reasons, I've got these as S tier cryptocurrencies. A tier is just really, really solid cryptocurrencies, but they may have one little thing that holds them back. For example, AVAX has kind of that high token inflation, and they're not dominating the partnerships and integrations quite like Matic is, although this AWS partnership is massive, obviously. And then B tier are really, really good cryptocurrencies, but they may be lacking in some way or another. Like Phantom just doesn't quite have the user base and proliferation that some of these other layer ones have.
Damn, you got Cardano in the D tier?
Cardano, that's like B tier is really, really good. Like B tier is literally like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is top 10 cryptocurrencies, right? So
He's got Bitcoin and C.
Bitcoin's in its own little section here. So the tiers stop. This is Bitcoin section, okay. And then F tier doesn't mean it's a bad project. It just means it may have bad tokenomics. And F tier is the projects that I look to short. For shorting opportunities. Like Optimism, phenomenal project. It's running really good right now, but it has really, really high inflation. So it makes it a really attractive token to look for shorts on, right? You see these really horrible drawdowns and really bad pullbacks because of those high token inflation. So doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad project. Just means that it's got, it's more prone to large drawdowns. Cardano, phenomenal project. It just performs really bad in a bear market, and that's why it's in B tier. It doesn't quite have the adoption that something like Ethereum or Matic or the user base that they're driving yet. But tech wise, and the fact that it outperforms everything in a bull market, it's really, really good. They've got it in my top 10. Again, this is subjective to me too. Like, if somebody, obviously you're going to have somebody who's like a really big, whatever fan, Aave, whatever it may be. And that doesn't mean that there's no other good projects that aren't in this tier list. It's just, these are the ones that I follow pretty closely, have done research on, and feel comfortable with, kind of on a longer term perspective. And just kind of how I organize my thoughts around them. So it's nothing like super, it's just my personal thoughts on them. It's nothing like super specific or objectively scored or anything like that. It's completely subjective.
All right, so I think we're talking about Avalanche. Sorry, I kind of sidetracked you there a little bit.
No worries at all. Yeah, Avalanche, phenomenal technology. I think AVAX is going to perform well. I think it's established itself as a top layer one as far as tech goes. And this green box here. Hindsight's 2020, but also we kind of did talk about this. This is the demand zone. This popped down into a demand zone where we had previously seen that big impulse move off of $10 all the way up to $60. That's going to be very strong support. If we draw our level over, that's exactly where it touched down. And then just, this is in general, we found demand in this zone before. This is going to look very similar to the TA on Bitcoin right now. But before I kind of talk about this downtrend line, I do want to show you that Avalanche has shown us on multiple occasions, really two strong occasions, that it can rip and not look back. This first pump, almost 2,000%. Second pump, 1,400%. I don't want to, I'm not trying to get people to FOMO into AVAX. I don't hold a ton right now. I've got this very small position. I think it's like in ribbon finance or something, nothing crazy. And more than likely, we go up, in a bear market rally situation, we go up to retest this high here, right? Which would be in line with our red easy bands. And we'd really have to get a really solid narrative around AVAX for us to start.
What's that number, by the way, Forrest? What's that number, by the way?
That is around $30.
$30, okay.
Yeah, and I think the two levels that we want to look for here, I'll just remove all these, is probably structurally, or we're just going to look at our supply zones, right? We can throw on margin pressure levels if we want to trade this on leverage a little bit, but those are the two levels, and I think these are going to kind of overlap here with our red easy band zone as well. So those would be kind of the bear market rally targets. However, just note that AVAX does have a propensity to rip up. And part of that, I believe, is due to the burn function. When transaction throughput and a bunch of transactions are happening on the Avalanche network, a portion of those fees are being burned, which helps create some deflation in the supply. It's still inflationary, but it helps constrict the supply a little bit, and you can get that kind of very fast reaction to the upside. Now, I personally don't think that we're seeing, what I think we're seeing is a bear market rally and a period of relief and short squeezes and speculation, people kind of FOMOing in, thinking that maybe the bottom's in. What I don't think we're getting, and I could be proven wrong here, is a renaissance in TVL coming back on chain, in DeFi innovation. I don't necessarily think that transaction throughput for AVAX is going to return to where it was when everybody was speculating on DeFi, everybody was moving money around into Time Wonderland and all of these other different things. So I don't necessarily think that the base case should be that we rip back up another 1,500%. For me, if we can hold above this 21-week simple moving average, just like we talked about on Bitcoin, then I think we get another extension of the move up to maybe, this first target would be like 20, 21. Second target would be about 30 to maybe 31. So just red easy bands, right? We want to accumulate in the green, sell in the red. Even if you accumulated, over here, you're looking at picking up around $10 to $15, selling around, potentially 30. So 30 would be where we want to consider de-risking and taking some profits off the table, so that we can make sure that we do have capital if this comes back down either to the 21-week simple moving average or down to the green easy bands before we go into the 2024 bull market. Assuming we get one.
Hopefully. Would you mind taking a look at ETH? ETH got up to $1,400.
Yeah.
You have, I guess, Shanghai now is at the top of the devs list as far as the next upgrade or whatever you want to call it, the Shanghai fork, which would unlock everyone's staked ETH, which some people are saying, "Oh my God, that means it's going to be dumped." I don't believe so. What's ETH telling us? What are some targets we should look for ETH?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've broken through this really, really strong resistance at 1340. We've got so many margin pressure levels there. To be honest, I thought we were going to get another rejection at 1340 again and come back to test the bottom of this ascending triangle. So if we kind of go here, we had this really nice ascending triangle, which is a very bullish pattern. Actually, just let me completely redraw that. So 1340 is a really big resistance level, and we had this ascending triangle. This is a bullish pattern, and usually the way you want to trade this is you want to look for the third touch, right? The third touch on the triangle. But a lot of times what you'll get is you'll get another visit and then you'll get your third touch. We kind of got a back-to-back third touch. So it's kind of a weird ascending triangle. And then we broke up here. So I thought there's a really strong chance that we got rejected, came back, and then broke out. Which is fine. Breaking out this early is fine. It's very bullish. We're starting to really move up. The place you'd want to potentially look for an entry if you're so inclined, and where I would look for re-entry is on this 1340 level, which is the top of this ascending triangle. If we just come back to retest it, that's going to now be very strong support. If we fall back below, we could fall back to this trend line and look for an entry around 1260 or so if we fall pretty hard. So 1340 and to 1260 are both pretty solid entry points in my opinion. Otherwise, we're going to hit some resistance. We're already hitting some resistance. I want to pull the margin pressure levels up to our most recent low. And you can see the reason we're starting to slow down here is because these longs are getting a little skittish on Forex leverage in terms of, we've had this nice move up, right? Ethereum is considerably more expensive than it was at the beginning of the year, and we're only 13 days, we're 2 weeks into the new year. And Ethereum this year so far has gotten 20% more expensive. At the beginning of the year, you could buy it for $11.90. Now you got to pay $1,400 plus for it. So it's not exactly the most attractive thing to just be FOMOing in at $1,400. So, and when you can't hide your liquidation point on leverage, below this last swing low. So we very well may get a correction here. If we continue this momentum and make support on top of $1,400, then look at 1610 as a key resistance level, which we've kind of seen resistance at this level as in the past. And then in a full kind of bear market rally situation, look to go up and test, between 2K and 2150. 2150 to 2160 is a very, very strong level. So I do think that we could test 2160 in kind of the full extension of a bear market rally. And you'll very frequently see this last supply zone where the shorts came back in and pushed this down right here will often act as a supply zone and a resistance level on the way back up. So I do think it would make a lot of sense if we did pop back up to here for us to kind of top out around 2160, which also does line up with our red easy bands. Right, we're gonna these easy bands, and now that we're above the 21 week simple moving average, these easy bands are gonna start moving up. And yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to get the chat's input. Are you guys vibing with Ethereum at $1,400? Put a 1 in the chat if you're super bullish on Ethereum right now, or if you think it's maybe not the best time. Put a 2 in the chat. I want to know what the chat thinks.
Yeah, that's Ethereum there. Those are the levels that I'm looking at. 1340 and 1260 as support. 1431 where we're currently at, we're catching a little bit of resistance here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a correction back down to 1340. Maybe is 1340, and then 1610 and 2150 would be kind of our extension targets for a bigger rally. And I don't think it's terribly unlikely that we get that.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to hold this average. The same thing goes for Bitcoin. We got to hold this over the next couple of days. We can't get rejected again. If we get rejected, we're probably going down to test these lows, unfortunately.
Yeah. I just want to know what the chat thought. We got a bunch of 1s, a few 2s, but I don't know. I feel like some people they like to FOMO into Ethereum as soon as it has any price movement. Which I mean, if you look at history, man, I know had just historic run up from what was it like $300 or whatever it was during the beginning of the bull market in 2020. Yeah, man.
So a couple things I want to say before we get into Gemini and Gary. So first and foremost, big thank you to Crick Cats with the $5 super chat. Said thank you guys for all the great info and entertainment. Thank you, Forrest, for the amazing TA. Yes, thank you, Forrest. If you want to thank Forrest more and you want to continue to support Sin City Crypto and you enjoyed the indicators and everything Forrest talked about, you can get more. There is an affiliate link in the description of this video. You can get Discord access. There's different levels. Go check it out if you enjoyed it. feel free. You'll support the channel. You'll support Forrest as well.
And then just a little love to the chat. We got Sky Seam, Crypto Trends, Butterball, T Holmes, Druzy, NW. All of you, hola! Welcome.
Forrest, is it weird to you that we decided the person who literally cannot pronounce the word cupcake is the one welcoming all the new members and saying their names? Isn't that a little odd?
Coop cake. Thank you.
Can't pronounce what? You cut out there for a second.
You can't even pronounce cucumber or cupcake or, just the average stuff. And he's over here trying to pronounce people's names.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of odd that we picked Robin to do this?
Yeah, I picked myself, actually.
Yeah. That's,
also,
there lies the problem.
I would like to pick on her. I'd like to pick a fight with the chat here.
I think Jimmy said if we get to 100 likes, he's going to gift another.
Oh, we just got 100 likes. But yeah, man, we're at like 40 or 30% like ratio here, man. It's you guys not like this show? What's going on? Like button.
And right on cue, Jimmy, 10 gifted memberships. Okay. I want to get in. By the way, if you're a member of this channel, we have a lot of members. Use your emojis. I want you to throw the Gary Gensler emoji in the chat right now. Right now, because we're talking about Gary the Gun. Why do we call him Gary the Gun? Because he's fired off again and he just, F's stuff up. So that's all I'll say. So Gary Gensler, this broke yesterday.
I want to say there was a gifted membership to Larry Bird. Who made an account for my bird?
It's not your bird. Maybe it's the basketball player. Not everything's about you, Robin. So Gary Gensler yesterday tweeted, "We, SEC Gov, charged Genesis and Gemini for the unregistered offer and sale of crypto asset securities through Gemini Earn. Crypto intermediaries need to comply with our securities laws. This protects investors. It promotes trust in markets. It's not optional. It's the law. And if anyone is to look at Gary Gensler, take him seriously, we have to, guys." And so this is what Mr. Gensler had to say.
This was such a good video.
And we have no sound.
Ending?
All right, we're going to start this over because the first part is really funny.
What do seatbelts have to do with crypto lending?
Seatbelts?
I don't know who video edited this. They did a good job.
Seatbelts come standard in every car. That's true despite many innovations in automotive technology. Whether a car is four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, whether it runs on gasoline or electricity, drivers and passengers deserve to be protected. Similarly, our federal securities laws protect investors. There's no reason to treat crypto markets differently from the rest of the capital markets just because it uses a different technology. Compliance with our laws protect the investing public. Unfortunately, some platforms that offer crypto lending aren't complying with the requirements. Consider this hypothetical. Bob runs an app that promotes 7% returns, and Alice and millions of other everyday investors put their asset in Bob's app. Disclosures help Alice understand what Bob is doing with her assets. How is he funding the promised return? Is he running a hedge fund, for instance? In essence, what risk is he taking? Notably, it doesn't matter what kind of asset Alice put into Bob's app. Cash, gold, Bitcoin, chinchillas, or anything else. It's what Bob does that determines the protections provided by our laws. That's what the Securities and Exchange Commission found in a recent settlement with the crypto lending platform BlockFi. There are costs of complying with securities laws, just as there are costs to the car makers of adding those seatbelts. Platforms that offer crypto lending need to comply nonetheless. This helps protect investors. It increases trust in our markets. Getting these platforms to comply with the securities laws will benefit investors and the crypto market. As with seatbelts in cars, we need to ensure that investor protection comes standard in the crypto market.
Dude,
I feel like I just watched one of those orientation videos at like my new office
like getting
job.
your health card.
Like the next one is like the sexual harassment. It's like Gary Gensler like, don't touch her there. Oh no.
Okay. He keeps saying, okay, the whole narrative with Gary Gensler, I think what everyone is so frustrated with, the laws are there. Come talk to us. You know what guidelines? No one knows, Gary. No one knows. When Coinbase approached you about their Earn program, you literally gave them nothing. You didn't give them any guidance. If I believe this is true, I believe they were trying to subpoena them for something. So we're in this like conundrum of the number one regulator in our space supposedly is saying, hey guys, everything's already out there. Just comply. If you have questions, come in and talk to us. We'll give you guidance. And these companies are doing that, like Coinbase, and no one's getting guidance. In fact, they're actually getting more conflicting information and have no idea what to do. Just to give some context, because this video didn't really give context as to what exactly they're suing, or not suing, but they're charging them for. There was a CoinDesk, I believe it was it a CoinDesk article? A Crypto Potato. By the way, if you like potatoes, put a 1 in the chat. Crypto Potato, SEC files complaint against Gemini and Genesis for allegedly selling unregistered securities. They are seeking permanent injunctive relief, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, plus front-end interest and civil penalties, aka a lot of fines. Both companies raised billions of dollars by offering and selling securities to U.S. investors through the Gemini Earn crypto asset lending program. I'll stop there. Then I'm going to get into what an ex-SEC enforcer said. Then we're going to get into what Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss said. But first, I want to get your reaction, Forrest. Is this the end of Gemini? If they're just an avalanche of fees and fines they have to pay, they're already in a bind as far as trading volume being down. Their Earn program is down. Could this be a death blow to Gemini?
Not 100% if it's going to be a death blow. I don't know how much Bitcoin the Winklevoss twins have, but I think they're pretty stacked. I don't know if that's a public number or not, but I think they'll probably be fine. I don't know the extent to which the fines that they may have to pay. But initial reaction here is just for I can't take Gary Gensler seriously. The guy is. We need somebody else in there, just even if it's just a different face. But like Gemini is probably are they 100% innocent in all of this? Were they a bit negligent in terms of not doing enough due diligence on DCG and Genesis and taking care of that situation and jumping on it sooner before it kind of blew up in their faces? Certainly. But Gemini from all other metrics, to my understanding, are one of the most secure and compliant exchanges out there, and they do everything like they're a pretty good model for what you would want to see out of a crypto exchange based out of the US. Obviously Coinbase is kind of the public model, but Gemini, I've always had a good experience with Gemini. I've felt like they've been very transparent and compliant and have had really solid security. It's just like, if you're gonna go after somebody here, why go after Gemini? Go after DCG in particular, or go after Celsius. Go after like somebody else than Gemini who's actually trying to do the right things in crypto.
Now, and you brought up a good point for us. And should Gemini receive any? Should they be held accountable for not doing due diligence? My whole thing is on their website. Like, that's literally what it said. We do due diligence to make sure our third-party partners are good. And obviously, they didn't do that. So I believe they do deserve some accountability as far as Gemini. Robin, what are your what's your initial reaction to this? What are your thoughts? Is this just the beginning, and could this be the end for Gemini if they're just showered with fees and fines and maybe have to cease certain operations? Who knows?
So a couple of things that I'm thinking about. One is, did they even have some of their own capital in Gemini? We have Genesis. In Genesis. I don't know. That's purely speculation. Well, one thing that we have learned throughout these contagion effects is that they're borrowing from one another. We saw that nobody had hesitancy staking assets on Terra Luna. So, did Gemini have any of their own personal treasury assets on Genesis? Perhaps. That's something to think about. But, can they withstand a sea of fines? And this is also a criminal charge. This isn't just a fine by the SEC. So there's nobody's going to see any prison time. I think for the SEC, selling of unregistered securities does carry a maximum of 5 years. But I think if you look at the history of those charges, nobody ever serves any time. It's more of a, hey, we'll settle on this.
No, it's more like, hey,
we'll,
give us your money.
yeah, it's generally how it goes. But for me, it's like if you're already kind of underwater because where the bear market is, and say you didn't have the best moves, I think that Gemini is not the strongest, not the biggest, exchange out there. Now, Gemini does have the New York City kind of retail sector. They have the bit license.
Well, they're licensed to operate in there, right? And we know, guys. Let me tell you something. I have gotten licenses. I've gotten life insurance license, health license. I was studying for my 6 and 63. New York is like when you talk about regulation, especially in money and finance, New York is like its own thing, guys. They have their own, they're not a reciprocal state. You can't just get one license here and get it in New York. They have separate guidelines, much more strict and stringent. They're the financial capital of the world. And so if they were up to code, let's just call it, in the city of New York, which is the most stringent in the country, the state of New York, which is the most stringent state in the entire U.S., that's what I don't understand.
I mean, here's the thing: publicly traded companies fall, go under, go bankrupt all the time. Companies fail. I mean, I don't look at it as, you know what I mean? Like they have been around for a while. The Gemini has been around for when the bit license came out, and they just went through all the application processes. I don't think there's some kind of hero or some kind of like buttoned up like amazing exchange. They were early to the market, and they saw the market in New York being what it is with tons of retail money, and they took advantage of that system. But what I'm saying is that they're not the biggest exchange out there, and so they're probably in the red on their books. And you know what? They're probably trying to weather the storm through the bear market, like a lot of other exchanges. You see them laying people off, and just like everyone else. And so for me, it's like, can you withstand a $200 million fine from the SEC? Not to mention all the negative publicity. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that think, oh my God, SEC, they sued them. They're gonna go bankrupt. Even though there might not be any valid arguments to that. I mean, but some people just don't know any better. They're gonna overreact. They're not gonna transact with that. And then not to mention, you just got the stain from anyone that was using Gemini is probably not gonna. Using Gemini, they're probably not gonna come back.
At the very least, you think people are gonna start taking their money off and be like, oh my God, I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think people are gonna overreact. And then not to mention, you're in a bear market. And then on top of that, if you had exposure to Genesis through Gemini, you're probably pissed the hell off. And I don't for a second believe that all of a sudden this came down the pipeline and Gemini was like, oh, we didn't see that coming. We thought you were a great company. Perhaps maybe a year ago you can make that argument. But I'm telling you, they lost $2.1 billion.
Gary's trying to bring crypto down.
To Three Arrows Capital. Genesis lost $2.1 billion to Three Arrows. At that point, that's when I think everybody, I mean, we knew it. I mean, I think everybody in the industry was like, hey man, there's going to be some issues with this. That's a lot of damn money you just lost. Then you couple that with FTX. I'm telling you, man, Gemini knew. But the thing is if Gemini knew and they decided not to act, they knew like, hey, man, this is probably not good. Genesis was probably going to go under. I don't know. If they knew what was up and they just ignored it and just kept the program running, that's what I got a problem with. I don't have a problem for them offering third-party services. You can vet only so much. You don't know. You know what I mean? Like if we partner with somebody, you partner with somebody, you go to business, you know what I mean? Like you can only do so much research and vet. And then at some point, if it goes under, hey, that's just business, bro. You know what I mean? You can't hold everybody accountable.
Real quick. Just a quick answer. Do you think Gary's on a witch hunt for cryptocurrency? Yes or no? Forrest? You think he's trying to bring it down?
I got to give a little bit of, yeah, this is nuts. Like, he's literally going after the downstream effects of like, why is Gemini's earn program? Why are the customers not able to get their money? Well, because DCG. Well, where does DCG's money go? FTX. Like, and then you had Gary Gensler working with Sam Bankman-Fried. Like, he's going after the downstream, and I'm not going to call Gemini and DCG victims, but they're the ripple effect. Like the real problem here was FTX. Right. And really, if anybody should have had a drop on this, it should have been Gary Gensler, because he spoke with Sam Bankman-Fried every day leading up to this. So maybe it's a little bit of a witch hunt to try to posture and say, hey, we are taking action on crypto, and kind of deflecting and trying to say, oh, we're kind of trying to correct this and whatever, and draw attention away from the fact that he had relations with Sam Bankman-Fried. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's so misplaced, and I think it's bordering on like dishonest, and it's not good for the space. Not a fan of Gensler.
Same question.
I think Gensler, he likes traditional, and I think he realizes what crypto is and what it does, but he just doesn't like the players in the space, and so I think he's just on a power trip to get rid of everybody.
Okay.
He taught a class on it, so I don't even want to say he doesn't understand it.
No, he understands it.
He understands it.
He understands.
I just think that
he prefers
traditional. He sees,
but his buddies at Goldman Sachs are getting into crypto.
That's what I'm saying. No.
You think? I mean, I don't know. The reason my answer is yes, I do think he's on a witch hunt for crypto, and we're gonna go to a video from an ex-SEC enforcer. She did an interview with Squawk Box, but before I do that, I want to give a quick shout out to Rob. $5 super chat said seatbelts keep people safe, but they also make them drive like a-holes. Cost benefits, Gary. Look at both sides.
And then a little shout out as well. We got a couple new people in the chat. We got Google user B, JP Sum, Pimpin Splits, Uncle Rudy Poo, RC, Bud Lightyear, E Senor, Shoaib, BYH, Verdi, and John Young.
Okay, okay, you know what? You keep doing the names, write them down. I will do the next ones, okay? Please. I think our people deserve better than that. All right, let's get into this video. So this is, the lady's name is Lisa Braganca. She was the former SEC enforcement chief, and she talked about what her thoughts are on why the SEC waited this long to go after Gemini and Genesis.
Why was this something that you think just happened now and not earlier? Because this was a public event, meaning people knew that this product EARN existed. It was advertised, and it's taken quite some time for this to happen.
Right. That is an interesting question. The SEC has known about this product for a long time. We understand, based on a tweet today or late last night from Tyler Winklevoss of Gemini, we know that Gemini had been under investigation for this product for quite some time, more than a year, and yet the SEC allowed this to continue for that period of time. They were in talks with Gemini, and then the crash happened in November. Because of FTX, Gemini was no longer paying any funds to customers, and 2 more months went by. So it seems to me that the bigger issue, the thing that triggered this, was the answer that Gemini filed in a separate case, in a class action against Gemini, brought based on behalf of Gemini customers for the failure to continue payments under the Gemini EARN product.
But I guess the bigger question is, here we have a situation where all of these customers are now in trouble, right? They don't have access to their money. The entire point of the SEC is to protect the public from instances like this. This was something that the company knew was happening because they were under investigation, something that the SEC knew they were working on because they were investigating, and yet we got to this place.
That is an interesting question. The SEC has been clear for years that something like this EARN program is a security. So it's puzzling why they didn't come to a resolution of this a long time ago, months and months ago.
Right. So who do you blame, though, in this? Do you blame the SEC for not coming to a conclusion? Do you blame the Winklevi twins for offering the this product, if you will, to their customers? Do you blame?
All right, I'm going to stop it there. Winklevi, yeah. A lot of people do. Oh, your mic's muted, by the way.
Winklevi?
Yeah, Kyler asked if they pluralized the name Winklevi. And yes, they did, Kyler. Yes.
I don't think that's how names work.
Well, maybe they do.
So they were investigating Gemini for over a year on this exact issue that they charged them with. And lo and behold, the timing just happens to line up at the exact same time that they have their Twitter dispute. I mean, it's where's the seatbelts at, Gary? You only put the seatbelts on when the crash happens? Is that what happens? It's too late to put the seatbelt on at that point. You got to put the seatbelt on, but when you start the car, before you put it in reverse or drive. You know?
You're so good at analogies, man. I'm so bad at analogies. That's a great analogy, oh my God, just got in a car crash. Put the seatbelt on. Okay, before we comment on this, I'm going to go right into what I believe Tyler Winklevoss. His response via Twitter to Gary Gensler is disappointing that the SEC governor, Gary Gensler, chose to file an action today as Gemini and other creditors are working hard together to recover funds. This action does nothing to further our efforts and help EARN users get their assets back. Their behavior is totally counterproductive. As a matter of background, the EARN program was regulated by the NYDFS, the New York Department of Financial Services, and we've been in discussions with the SEC about the EARN program for more than 17 months, which is what the lady said in the video. They never raised the prospect of any enforcement action until after Genesis paused withdrawals on November 16th. Despite these ongoing conversations, the SEC chose to announce their lawsuit to the press before notifying us. Super lame. It's unfortunate that they're optimizing for political points instead of helping us advance the cause for 340,000 EARN users and other creditors. We look forward to defending ourselves against this manufactured parking ticket, and we will make sure this doesn't distract us from the important recovery work we are doing. But seriously, what is the point of urgency here? The EARN program has been shut down for almost 2 months. For the avoidance of doubt, Gemini has always worked hard to comply with all relevant laws and regulations. Any suggestion to the contrary is unsupported by the facts. I can't disagree with anything Tyler said here. I do agree, and Forrest mentioned as well, Gemini being one of the people. I believe they're domiciled here in the U.S. I could be wrong, but there's a reason not every crypto company is domiciled in the U.S. because our regulations are a little more strict, a little more hoops you got to jump through, right? So, but for them to wait until after everything's said and done, 340,000 people do not have access to their money. And now you decide to slap the company that is trying to get that money back with a lawsuit, potentially, and potential fines. You're sitting there, Gary Gensler is speaking out the both sides of his mouth. On one hand, he's saying, we are here to protect investors. We are looking to protect investors, blah, 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 blah. On the other hand, hey, BlockFi, we know you're in trouble, but we want, $100 million fine. Gemini, we know your EARN customers are in trouble. Who knows what amount of fine? So, I don't know. I'll start with you, Robin, first. We thoughts on what the lady said. What is this after the fact thing? Is Gary speaking out of both sides of his mouth? What's going on here?
It's just there's no clear procedure for their regulation, enforcement by making up rules on the fly, enforcement by adding 1930s security law to things that don't really fit into that box. So I don't really think they understand what they're doing, and it seems like they're investigating multiple things, and they're only pulling the trigger on it when things go boom and break, and it's like a little too late. It's like if you're gonna step up and be the agency or the branch of government that is trying to tackle some of the problems that centralized crypto entities have. Because I think that's pretty much where we're having any of these failures. It comes from the centralization of crypto and with bad actors either taking on too much risk or just participating in fraud. And if you're going to stand up and be like, hey, we're going to regulate this industry, then do it in a way that makes sense. Do it, lay it out. Like, hey, this is a commodity. This is a security. You can't do this. I feel like they don't have any direction, man. But you know what? You know what's kind of like I was thinking about just now? I was like, probably a blessing in disguise. Remember when Coinbase was trying to do an earn program about a year ago?
Yeah.
And SEC was like, nah, we're going to sue your ass if you do that. Good thing that they didn't get into it, right? No, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't think, until we get legislation from Congress, I think you're just going to see more of this from the SEC. They're just going to pick and choose what battles they want to pick. And I think like the ones they decide to pick are the ones that got headlines like Kim Kardashian, FTX after it blows up, Genesis after it blows up. And it seems like they're not doing anything.
That's
beforehand,
what I'm thinking.
So.
That's what I'm thinking. Are they really here for the investor, or are they here for, told you so, told you so, told you so?
I think so, yeah.
What are your thoughts for us on everything the lady said, Tyler's response?
Yeah, so I think this is gross negligence on behalf of the SEC and Gary Gensler if this was a problem, they were aware of it ahead of time, and then they didn't do anything, then I think they're to blame. If that's their responsibility, if their responsibility is to enforce that people are wearing their seatbelts, and now they're claiming that Gemini wasn't wearing their seatbelts and they knew about it the entire time, but they didn't give them a ticket ahead of time, then that's their fault. They had plenty of time to take care of that. So I also, from as far as the Tyler Winklevoss's remarks, I don't disagree with anything. I don't think he's completely innocent here. I think there's some negligence on their side as well. You need to take responsibility of doing due diligence and whatnot of any of the parties involved. I do think they're probably the least guilty, but I don't think that there's not any guilt there, if that makes sense. But again, like I said, I've always viewed Gemini as a trustworthy, secure exchange that does try exactly what he said in his tweet, that has a rich history of trying to comply to the highest standards. And I don't think there's anything malicious with their earn program on the Gemini side. I think this one got away from them. I think there were probably some negligence there. I think that from that aspect, yeah, they share some guilt, but not to the degree to which the other parties involved do. So it's just an entire unfortunate circumstance. I've been saying this for the longest time. We need guidance, and we need just like really clear-cut guidance and legislation around crypto so that people can actually know exactly what is off limits. Like this, there needs to be literally legislation on these earn programs and crypto lending in particular. Like there just needs to be like with regards to lending Bitcoin, with regards to lending Ethereum, like with regards to what makes crypto security and not a security, that debate that's been going on. There needs to be clear legislation.
Here's the thing that sounds great, but we have a split Congress. And we're talking legislation that's going to take
what
years.
Would make sense? Like, I wish they would just make a committee, man. Like, you have the housing committee, you have different
and get
organizations.
people who actually run exchanges, like that, you can know how to code.
You could put people from both sides of the aisle on there. You could have Republicans and Democrats sitting on the committee, and then whatever Republican or Democrat, whoever owns majority, they can elect, somebody to be the chairman of that committee. They can run the committee until the Republicans or Democrats lose the majority there, and then they can elect, the same way you have with other committees. It's something that's typical here. The thing is, we saw the last congressional hearings. It was Kevin O'Leary, which, he's an investor, but he's also a TV personality, and he's from Legacy Finance. How much does he truly know about crypto? I know he's probably well versed, more so than the competitors in his space.
It's a joke, but a joke.
Like we should have blockchain developers. We should have people that represent the mining council. We should have people that are familiar with Web3,
like actual miners,
people that sit on
people who run exchanges every day.
Yeah, or people that sit on the board for exchange companies. And anyways. Like we should have representation from people in our industry, and then at the same time, even throw in some legacy finance, put somebody in there from a that has some power in the central bank, and then come up, have that committee come up with ideas, regulation, to put forward proposals to Congress, like, because right now it's like, you have BitBoy trying to come up with a bill, and it's like, we talked to him. That sounds like just a nightmare, and it's just like I just think that there's no way to make any any headway into this whole sector, because there's even at the congressional level where to pass bills, there's no framework there. You just got people yelling about it. It's scam. It's a scam. No, it's cool. It's a future. And then it's like, but nobody's really like sitting down, bringing people together, having a conversation about like, hey,
because they don't care.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no framework to care. That's what I'm saying. You just have people you just have a room full of people just yelling at each other. That's literally our Congress on this subject. And so we should have a little section in the corner with some tables, and then be like, hey, why don't you sit down and figure something out? But we don't have that. We don't have a committee. We don't have a board. We don't have anything.
You know what we do have? We have Gary Gensler. And I want to ask Chad a question before we move on. Do you think as long as Gary Gensler is the head of the SEC, we will see crypto move forward in terms of regulation and mainstream adoption? If you think we can make it happen with Gary in office, put a 1. If you think Gary needs to go for crypto and Bitcoin to hit mainstream,
he did approve the futures ETF.
Yay. I'm happy you brought up ETF, Robin, because interesting tweet from Ryan Selkis, the founder of Masari. He said, if the SEC relents and approves the spot Bitcoin ETF, more than 850,000 investors unlock $6 billion of value as the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust net asset value gap closes, the fees drop, and redemptions open. DCG will then realize a $700 million gain and then would be able to repay 350,000 Gemini earned customers more quickly. 1.2 million investors want Gary Gensler to do his damn job. What are your thoughts on that, you guys? If these numbers add up, which I don't know if they do, they look pretty spot on. If this would be able to happen, and you truly care about investor protection, would this be the right move to do? Why or why not? Forrest?
I think this is the obvious move. I have like a slight hesitation there, but that's for other reasons, pertaining to my long-term views on Bitcoin. But this seems like the most obvious solution to move forward. I think this should have been done a long time ago. And had this happened a long time ago, we may not be sitting in the same situation. So, at the end of the day, regarding like the proliferation of guidance and legislation around crypto, what I personally think is more likely to happen is that the pace of crypto growth and usability outpaces legislation, and it leaves legislation behind. And legislation is going to get to a point where it doesn't matter, because there will be no enforcement in crypto that can keep up with crypto tech. So what I think is going to happen is you're going to see the proliferation of private DeFi, private high throughput DeFi, with both stable coins and Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin, probably on some Ethereum layer 2 network, where you're going to be able to go and you're going to be able to tap pay with your stable coins. It's going to be an untraceable transaction. You'll pay for gas at a gas station with some sort of private transaction, and the SEC and legislation is going to be so far behind, they're not going to know what hit them, and people are just going to be doing that and not even be worried about this type of stuff. I don't think they're going to be able to stop it. I think in 5 years, DeFi will be in such an advanced state compared to what the legislation is, we're not going to be dealing with nearly as many of these centralized exchange problems and centralized lending services. DeFi will be so easy and usable that it'll have taken over before any legislation can stop it.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's definitely DeFi is gonna gain a ton of the market cap share. But I don't know. I feel like they just need to do something about these centralized lending services. At least that, so we don't have another Celsius.
If you're giving up your keys or your crypto,
like at least just start there.
Yeah.
Like it just because here's the thing, like because the thing is like you talk about crypto, everybody's like FTX. I'm like, man, FTX ain't got nothing to do with crypto,
That's not
man.
crypto, man.
I mean, it obviously they offer crypto services, but it's not what crypto's about, man. And so I mean, it is what it is. It's like trying to blame the price action today from Mount Gox. You know what I mean? Like,
whoa.
What did that have to do with anything?
Slow down, man. Guys, before I move on to the next topic of conversation, which you're going to want to hear, put a 1 in the chat. If you're a Polygon fan,
There was a lot of 2s earlier. There's a lot of haters on Gary Gensler.
I wonder why. If you're a fan of Polygon, you like Polygon, if you're bullish on Polygon, put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious to see what everyone thinks about whether they're bullish on this piece of news. Polygon proposes a hard fork to reduce reorganizations and gas spikes. So this was pretty interesting. This is from Decrypt. After a heated community debate last month, Polygon Labs appears to be moving forward with plans to hard fork the network early next week. Polygon Labs claims the hard fork, which was proposed to occur on January 17th, will help prevent network gas fee spikes and address chain reorganizations, also known as reorgs. The article goes on to state, the reduction in gas fee spikes will be achieved by doubling the value of base fee change denominator, which Polygon says will, quote, help smooth out the increase-decrease rate in the base fee for when the gas exceeds or falls below the target gas limits in the block, aka cheaper gas fees. Reorgs, which can occur because of network errors or malicious attacks, cause blockchain networks to temporarily split in two. Last year, Ethereum's Beacon chain suffered from a reorg that made the network vulnerable to attack and could have led to thousands of dollars in duplicate transactions. So those are the two main reasons they are looking to hard fork. Now, the thing with the hard fork is this. All Polygon node operators will have to upgrade their nodes before the 17th to prepare for the hard fork. And of course, the article led by saying a heated debate. Are you worried at all? But obviously, when you hard fork, it is not backward compatible. You have to get all your node operators on the new chain, on the new fork chain. And if that doesn't happen, there could be some issues moving forward. I'll start with you, Forrest. What are your thoughts on this Polygon hard fork? Is it worth it for what they're trying to achieve? Just your overall thoughts.
Yeah, I think it is worth it. I say go for it. Not too terribly concerned about this. People try to get people to understand, like from like a growth and even from like an investment perspective. You have like these people that are in like the decentralization maxi camp, and all they want is just pure decentralization. But like pure decentralization oftentimes doesn't work. You look at some like super decentralized coins and they just can't get anything done. They're not upgradable. At the end of the day, Polygon, the company and Polygon Studios, the company that's going out and getting all of these partnerships and integrations, the chain that they're going to support is the upgraded forked chain. Right. So if you're a node operator, you don't have a choice. You can go and try to support the old forked chain and not follow the new one. But you literally you're at the whim of what Polygon, what chain Polygon supports in the future. Maybe just a small, tiny portion will stick with the original chain if they really disagree with this change. But to me, on the surface, it looks like it's a change that's going to positively affect the network. I don't see any reason not to move forward with it. I just think it makes a ton of sense. And I just like the argument that, oh, this is a centralized move. It's like, well, yeah, Starbucks is centralized. Coca-Cola is centralized. Nike is centralized. Like this is a chain that does not have the same level of decentralization, nor should it, that a lot of other blockchains out there, strive for. I don't personally think that decentralization, when it comes to blockchain, is like the end all be all. And you can still have moderately centralized chains, and still it's actually what similar to what I think Scott Melker was saying on your show yesterday. It's like you have, if you're a decentralization maxi, invest in Bitcoin, invest in some of these different, decentralized cryptocurrencies. But if you're looking at something different, a different use case, and a use case that could grow very rapidly, you look at Matic, look at AVAX, these chains that have the thesis of onboarding enterprises and onboarding Web 2 companies. I think people get those two mixed up and they think it's one or the other, and it's like, no, there's space for everybody here. There's definitely a use case for Polygon at its level of centralization. There's definitely a use case for Avalanche at its level of centralization. So that's my take.
That's a good point. Before I ask Robin, I want to give a shout out to my boy Nicky P Crypto. Said, shout out to David for recommending feta toast. You're welcome, my friend. Why are you laughing, Kyler? You're on my side, remember? Forrest, have you ever had feta toast?
Feta?
First of all, you know feta cheese?
Yes.
Have you ever put feta cheese on toast?
Why?
No. I don't plan to.
All right. Let me speak to my friend Nicky P Crypto here. Just everyone be quiet. Rocco, no one asked you for your opinion. Damn it. We know you don't like it. What I like, you don't like. We already know this, okay? Nicky P, you want to step your game up, bro? Add some watermelon to the mix.
All right.
Don't.
Right.
Okay.
Guys, I have...
Hold on. Take a bite of the feta toast, finish it, and then eat some watermelon.
All right, hold on. I actually have a lot actually patched into the chat. This is the reaction to the toast. This is...
What the hell is that? Oh, man. Okay.
All right.
We also have a lot of Polygon fans in here. That's CES. That was CES, guys. Just kidding. All right.
Oh,
Robin,
CES.
do you remember
feta?
No. Listen to me.
You fried your taste buds when you were younger,
You eat feta toast. You put some butter on the toast, feta. You eat it, and then once you're done eating it, you have some watermelon, and you take a bite of the watermelon. It's refreshing.
You know, when I was a chef, we would to get a job as a chef, you'd have to cook a dinner.
You have the stage.
Yeah, you cook a dinner. So you do your interview, and then you're like, "Oh, come back."
What did you overcook?
No, you have somebody make like a 4-course dinner. You eat 4 different things, and then all the chefs try it, and then anyways, you see if they got skills. You're that guy that pulled up with like the weird food, and we're just like, "Yeah, no job for you, bro."
I never wanted to be a chef.
Have you ever tried watermelon and peanut butter? Really good.
That's weird.
Watermelon with peanut butter on it.
Oh, Rocco. Yeah, Rocco says okay.
God.
Rocco, I'm convinced you hate me.
No, they didn't.
Rocco hates
start. I was about to say it.
You like the feta cheese?
From Forrest.
I love my
So
book,
you
Kyler.
know what you can do actually is if you take a little olive oil and you put it onto watermelon, you like slice watermelon, and then you put a little salt on there, and then you slow cook it
Yes.
for like an entire day, like a whole day, just basically dehydrate it. It turns into like a jerky almost. It's kind of weird.
That's a little weird.
It's good. It's interesting. It's something you can do as a chef. You can do like a little
What
garnish.
were we talking about, by the way?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay. The hard fork, Polygon. Robin,
Polygon.
Oh yeah.
Hard fork.
We're running out of time here, aren't we?
Just give your opinion on hard fork.
Hard fork. I haven't had time to go look into it. If it's a major hard fork, I mean, I think all hard forks are major, but if this is something that like has multiple things that are changing around, you have possibility for error there. I'll just put it that way.
And off the nodes, who knows? But anyways, Forrest, we're going to let you go, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us this Friday and every single Friday. Also, we are looking forward to your Monday video. We didn't discuss that today, did we? That's my bad.
What was the Monday video? Was it Polygon?
You did it on
Polygon, I think.
It was Polygon.
So long
I guess we
ago.
did touch on Polygon, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about Polygon already.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Anthony
was it
Barbatsul
AVAX?
is here just in time.
Anthony Barbacoa. And then on the way out, I did have a couple new people. We had
Hold on, hold on.
Slam
Let me-
Banjo,
let me-
Travis Missouri,
hold on.
Big Irish, Rosen, Jeremy Lay, and your owner.
Forrest, do you understand if I was not on the show with my structure, this show would be like throwing crap at the wall and whatever sticks, that's what we're talking about. I was literally sending our friend Forrest off and you completely cut him off and now you have to sit here and listen to you ramble. Forrest, thank you so much. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Sistine Research, formerly Crypto Stackers Pro on YouTube, go subscribe. Also, if you enjoy the indicators and you want to support this channel and Sistine Research, there's an affiliate link. Also, go follow him on Twitter at 0xstacker. He joins us every single Friday. Forrest, we love you. We appreciate you. Have a great weekend, my friend. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. Peace.
All right, brother.
Pleasure is ours, my friend. Take care. All right, guys. Go also check out our social media at Sin City Crypto 1 on Twitter. Also, go look at our merch store. Don't just look. Maybe buy something. Maybe birthday's coming up or April Fool's or something. I don't know, but
We gotta show something sometime. Yeah.
yeah, we got to show something over
stuff,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you're nicer to me, Rocco, I'll show something.
Did we
one
get a
day.
finger tornado shirt yet?
That's
Yeah,
the
what a
next
good idea.
one.
I think that we can get
Tell
it
you,
out
like-
by 2025.
Just a hand like this with the finger up and then put a tornado on top.
Rocco, this is for you, bro.
And
Okay.
can you throw one of those cows from the movie Twister?
Yeah,
Sharknado, Sharknado. The sharks, the sharks.
Okay, we
You
can
gotta
do
have a
something
cow
like that.
and a shark floating around in that.
Oh,
in that
man.
Twister.
Guys,
We can make it up. We
barbecue,
can make it up.
barbecue sauce.
Oh, the barbecue sauce.
What a barbecue tornado.
That's funny. To all
gotta
the
come
new
out with
people,
something.
to all the new people that found our channel today, welcome to the Sinner community. Make sure to come back. We go live Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Did you see the poll? 50%,
Yeah.
over 50% French
French
fries.
fries.
I'm a big mashed potato guy.
Number 2 came in crypto potato.
Mashed potatoes work so much better with all the proteins. Chicken.
And also
Yeah.
the other one
Steak.
that is
Your brain is
probably
mashed
now
potatoes.
About the Polygon fork. I'm surprised the 18% doesn't know what is a fork. So that's the other thing, you know.
Yes, with that discussion for another day. With that being said, guys, Rocco, friends, family, friends and family and family and friends, we thank you guys so much for joining us on this beautiful Friday. We hope you have an absolutely amazing weekend. Thank you guys so much. Huge shout out to Forrest. Also on behalf of myself, Robin, Rocco, Kyler, we love you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time.
And also Nikki P. Crypto, Andres T. Hola!
Also, guys, if you are a Gala fan, you do not want to miss next week's show. And I won't tell you what day, but we got a high-ranking member from Gala joining us next week. It's going to be great. We'll see you then.
Leo. Hola! Crypto Con. Hola!
Mute him, please.
Only if you give me the finger tornado.